Yeah, nice to see you as well. Either Azan or actually, that's why I'm not unmuting myself yet.
Okay, yeah.
But great to see you as well.
Azan ho rahi hai. So we'll wait for just one more minute till the azan is. And please don't mind my sipping some tea. I just got back from the SOE. Um, I'm San- I'm Sania Hussain, and on behalf of SOE and the MPhil Educational Leadership and Management Program, I welcome you all. So let's begin with our wonderful alumni who are here with us, and they're going to share their experiences and their ideas. So let me introduce all three of them. We've got Rafia Hussain. Hi, Rafia. Can we see you?
Sania, it's not letting me start my video. The host has disabled it.
Okay. So Rafia is here, and then we've got Fatima Aslam. Hi, Fatima. And then we've got Halima Sarfraz here. Right. Now, this session is around 40 minutes, so it's going to end right after 40 minutes. So I'm not going to ask you to rejoin. So we'll finish it and wrap it up in 40 minutes. And I'm not going to introduce you. I want you guys to introduce yourself. So I'll take you all, and I'd like each one of you to tell me and tell the entire group what you are doing currently, and where you wanted to be in your careers, in your professions, and where do you see yourselves a few years from now. So shall we begin with you, Rafia?
Sure.
Please introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Rafia Hussain. I just graduated. I was from the first batch of executive MPhil in education, leadership, and management. Just graduated in June with a gold medal, alhamdulillah. So yes, currently I'm working as the digital marketing lead at the Beach Education. It's an edtech startup, which is basically working for the masses to teach them basic English language. What I had thought of myself doing back in the career, while I was doing my BBA from IBA in Karachi, and I was doing my social work internship in the Citizens Foundation, I had thought that eventually sometime in my life, I will come back to the development sector. I hadn't planned when, why, where, but that's just, one of the things that was in my mind. But I was back then I hadn't imagined that I could actually have a career which would amalgamate my love for marketing and education and development all together. So I'm glad to be where I am right now, alhamdulillah. And talking about where I want to be in a few years, as a person, I don't strictly believe in chalking out a long-term plan because I very much abide by the motto that life is too short. But I do believe that there should be a purpose in life, and one should be driven towards that purpose. My purpose of life has always been to give back to the society, to bring change, whether it is to an individual or to different people. So in a few years, I see myself leading a teacher training organization, either physically or virtually, but an organization where teachers get equipped with best skills to groom the children so that they become active, responsible citizens of the society.
Thank you very much, Rafia. Over to you, Fatima, now. Can you tell us what you're doing currently and where did you aspire to be a few years ago? And where do you see yourself?
Thank you for that, Sanya, and thank you for also inviting us for this Alumni Connect today. So I'm Fatma. I'm the manager of the Technology for Education unit at the Citizens Foundation. TCF ka aap logon ko I'm sure pata hoga is an NGO that is working to improve the access and the quality of education. So my unit TFE karti kya hai? So we really we evaluate the feasibility of EdTech interventions across TCF schools. क्या integrate करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए in order to improve student learning outcomes, their classroom experiences, and in order to enhance the teacher professional development. So I think when I was thinking about a career, initially तो मैंने bachelor's accounting and finance में start किया था, and after graduating from LUMS, वो भी LUMS से था, bachelor's करके I found a job in an NGO. I worked there for 2 years. And उसके बाद I think मुझे मेरा वापस उस करियर में जाने का या ACF pursue karne ka, I think I didn't really have the, the capacity to do it, because I was really enjoying the exposure, the fact that I was there in the field. I just couldn't see myself sitting behind, a desk job. Works for many. A lot of people enjoy that. Somehow I just didn't. So I think onwards, I really saw myself as part of the education sector. Um, I really never had a ideal career or an ideal role in my mind. I think I'm more of a go with the flow kind of a person. But a few months into the TCF role that I have right now, I think I realized there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to still practice and still kind of explore. Basically मेरी जो department है, हम लोग design से लेकर implementation to monitoring and evaluation, we cover almost all of it. So there's room for a lot of learning. I think a few years ahead, I'd still like to continue what I'm doing. But I think at a more higher level, जो हम interventions को explore कर रहे हैं, I'd really like that there's something that we explore to a certain extent and shows the kind of impact that we're hoping for, that we're able to scale it across the 1,800 plus school units जो TCF के हैं. So yeah, I think that's something that I really like.
And you plan on continuing?
For now,
with
yes.
this?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Fatima. Over to you, Halima.
Assalamualaikum everyone, and I'm Halima. So I graduated from my MPhil in 2023, almost 3-4 months back, and currently I'm working at AML. AML is an NGO, and it basically provides fellowship programs, mostly to students who are from public universities. So if I'm being completely honest, after I completed my bachelor's, or even during my bachelor's, I had no plans of coming into the education sector at all. Like people usually have a sense of where they want to go, what they want to do. I had no sense of what I want to do. The only thing that I have always wanted to do is working in impact, deciding whether I can make some sort of tangible impact for Pakistan, because I also am very patriotic. I've always been very patriotic. I don't know where that comes from, but always wanted to do something for Pakistan. So after joining the field of education 5 years back, I am now fortunate enough to be working with an organization, AML, which shares my passion and it shares my vision of giving back, of helping individuals reaching their full potential. So through our fellowship programs, which are conducted all over Pakistan, actually, we equip the youth of Pakistan with professional development, and also primarily, if we look at it in a more holistic way, it's to change mindsets more than anything else. Where do I see myself? I second Fatma. I've always been the go with the flow kind of person, wherever life takes me and all of that. But right now, I see myself working in impact, working in the development sector, working for Pakistan, and the best way to do that is through the educational sector.
Thank you, Halima. Thank you very much. Now this question is open and anyone can take it up, although I'd rather go back to Rafia, because Rafia, you said that you do not want to fix yourself into see yourself the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you don't feel like planning. How do you suppose whatever you do, the MPhil that you've done is going to kind of give you a direction or streamline you towards what you'd really like to do?
The MPhil program that we were actually enrolled in was, for me, the 2-year experience was very, very, very helpful. Like I mentioned earlier, probably that I come from a business background and I did not have any experience in education sector except for my internship that I did with TCF. So for me, this degree really opened my mind, especially because I feel it was the impact was much more lasting, because I belong to an executive batch. And the executive batch, I feel it was an honor to be part of all of them, because the cohort was extremely knowledgeable and had very rich experience. So I remember the first classes that I actually attended, I came back to my husband and I told him that I don't belong here. I don't speak their language. But I'm so glad that I took that up as a challenge, and I became a part of them. And over the years, the class discussions that we had, I used to be extremely excited for them, because they were, on one hand, they used to be very rich in terms of the knowledge and in terms of the practical experiences of my batchmates, as well as the theoretical things that we were studying. So, all of this gave me a very holistic perspective. On one hand, we were studying the best class practices. On the other hand, class discussions ke through, we were discussing what is actually happening on ground and whether it is, effective or not. So that kind of a holistic perspective, I think, is what's going to help me streamline my direction for life eventually also, because it will, help me contextualize everything that we do. Sometimes we make plans, whether it is for school, improvement plans, जो हम बहुत बड़ी-बड़ी कभी-कभी बातें कर लेते हैं कि हम ये भी कर सकते हैं, ये भी कर सकते हैं. But then when it comes to practically implementing all of them, that is when we realize कि, क्या-क्या चीजें गलत हो सकती हैं. So that contextualization is also what I understood through class discussions and a lot of these assignments.
So, Rafia, you've got a business background, right? Your initial degree, undergrad degree was in business. So obviously this is so-called a jump from one field to the other. But did you think that you could easily seamlessly connect the two? Because when we talk about interdisciplinary perspectives, and everything is kind of interconnected. So how did you make that transition? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Can you tell us a little about that trajectory?
Initially, it was not, because I had my undergrad and my graduate both in business, and that also in marketing. So I was coming from a very capitalist sort of perspective, and then coming to a sector which was completely all about giving back to the society and all about development of people and everything. Like I said, I had that passion within me that I wanted to do it sometime in my life, but I hadn't thought it'll actually be this soon. Initially, the transition was not easy. It was not smooth. Like I mentioned earlier, I used to be very intimidated by all my class fellows, by all the class discussions that were happening, because I would literally sit quietly in the class, listening to what everybody had to say, and I had like nothing to add value to those class discussions, or at least so I felt. But that business background also really helped me, because it gave me a different perspective from everybody else in the class also. It taught me, it had a lot of, I was coming with a lot of organizational behavior type theories, a lot of management related concepts, and that being applied to the practical life because of the corporate experience that I had. That really helped me, in basically integrating all of this with the theoretical knowledge. And that's what I think helped me stand apart eventually.
It was a kind of a plus, right?
For sure, for sure.
Great. So we've got a question. Javeria, we're going to take questions towards the end of the session. So I'll just read your comment and then I'll get back to you. Mashal, if you can look at it. So Fatma, let me ask you the same question now. How did this MPhil program feed into what you're doing right now? How was your journey?
So Sanya, I think the MPhil program was a great mix of theory and classroom experience, like school experience, visits, and all of that. The exposure that they gave. I think Zada learning. I mean, both of them went hand in hand, obviously, but I feel that sometimes theory में बहुत idealistic situation होती है, something that you're actually not able to see in the field, like Rafia mentioned, like and the field exposure actually then gives you context कि आपको लगता है आप बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं that this school improvement plan जो आपने बनाया है कि this will solve every problem that you see in that school, but actually it doesn't. आप जाते किसी और लेंस से हो, but जब आप actually explore karna shuru karte ho, you engage with the stakeholders and you find that that's not the problem. There was something else that was going on. So that lens, the lens that we were taught to use in the field, कि आपने observation करनी कैसे है, the kind of discussions that followed those observations, I think those were really, really important. Abhi, when I go for visits and when I because I mean, for sure, you can work in policy, you can work in एटेक में आप भी कर सकते हो, बट अगर आपका वो ग्रास रूट एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है और आप फील्ड पर नहीं जा रहे और बेस नहीं समझ रहे हो, तो यू रियली कांट disconnect the two and make a decision based on one only. So that lens, the analytical capabilities जो इस डिग्री की वजह से फ्लरिश हुई, जो डेवलप हुई, I think that has been really, really helpful. And then after all, ये जो visits होते थे, grid चाहिए होती थी, you're spending your day in the school, you're spending your day in the schools. Rural areas में भी है, I mean, some in urban too, yes, but, आप low cost private में भी जा रहे हो, आप NGOs में भी जा रहे हो, across the city भी travel कर रहे हो. So really, that was something, if you don't have that, या अगर आप develop नहीं कर पाओगे, तो फिर आप field पर काम नहीं कर सकते हो. एंड मतलब मेहरीन की डांट भी सुबह सुबह पड़ी हुई है सुबह टाइम पर आने के लिए. सो अगर वो ना पड़ती, सो आई थिंक दैट इम्पोर्टेंस के जी टाइम पर फील्ड पर पहुंचना है और वो सारा कुछ करना है. सो रियली came from all the experiences that we had learned here.
So you
yeah,
mean
I
the
think that's
practical implications? You actually
definitely,
went
yeah,
through those.
yeah, bilkul, yeah, really helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Halima, the same question to you.
Yeah, so I think
Since you had no idea or you had no preconceived notions about your career or your profession, and then you did this degree and joined Amal. So how do you think this helped you?
so Rafi and Fatma, pretty much summed up the entire experience. And yeah, like after I graduated, basically, so I just grabbed the first opportunity that I got that was teaching at LGS, right? I had no plans, as I said before. And while being at LGS for 2 years, that is when I realized that I need a much more holistic and immersed program where I can get to know about what the educational landscape of Pakistan is. And that is exactly what the program did. So as Fatma was also saying, it was a lot of experiential learning along with theories, right? When we were enrolled in observing schools, for example, our field visits, and then when we were enrolled with Dr. Gulab, the school improvement course, we were partnering up with different organizations. We were doing groundwork, field work to get to know what are the things that are lacking. So apart from, for me personally, apart from the academic rigor that it provided me, I think SOE also provided me with a lot of opportunities to find my own skill set and find myself, because I remember taking up electives that were not that were completely different from education. For example, I took up a business course with Dr. Jamal, and then I also took up human-computer interaction with Dr. Suleiman. So this interdisciplinary approach that SOE also provides you with being able to collaborate with other schools, with being able to take up electives from other schools to find out or learn a new skill, that is what it did. And I was also very much involved in everything at SOE. Like I was involved in hosting and single-handedly organizing the farewell. Mashal can, also just back that up. I was involved in, always like making sure that I am immersed fully, and also the open door policy that there was at MPhil. I remember just going into Dr. Bari's office so many times and just talking to him for the sake of talking, not because I had preconceived questions. It was just because I needed some guidance. And then I was also an RA with the Professional Education Office, and I got to work with you as well. I got to work with different instructors. So all of these opportunities that MPhil and SOE primarily provides, apart from this program, I think that is what everyone needs to take advantage of.
Thank you, Halima. Very insightful. Now, I'm going to pick up on something that you said, that it helped you, this MPhil program helped you discover your skill set, or at least explore and probe into it. So I'm throwing this question for all three of you for the benefit of the current students. What kind of advice would you give to the students who are enrolled or who want to be enrolled in this program, and what should they be looking for? So anyone can take that.
So if
go ahead, Rafia.
Okay, sorry, Fatma. So my advice as an alumni of executive MPhil to the students would be that joining this degree is going to be a conscious effort. This is basically not a degree that you're going to do as an alternate to any other activity that you want to that is already ongoing in your life. Rather, it is going to be an addition to your cumbersome routine. So when you're taking up this conscious step towards pursuing higher education, I would definitely suggest and advise you to, efficiently manage your time on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And at this, I can tell from experience that as a mother of a 1-year-old back then, managing home and kid independently, this degree felt a lot to me. There were times when it got too overwhelming, but just because of, smart planning and efficient time management, I was able to do it in the best possible manner. So yes, and look for a lot of networking opportunities and a lot of people that you're going to meet. SO is going to provide a lot of opportunities of that.
Thank you. Fatima, you were going to say something.
Yeah, so I'll continue with Rafia's last point, networking Mala. I think a gap jo maine feel kiya tha in my experience was that the disconnect with what was happening in Pakistan education sector mein, generally. So what I would recommend student is कि वो जो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग है ना कि एजुकेशन सेक्टर में हो क्या रहा है, नॉट जस्ट इन द फील्ड्स दैट यू लाइक और यू इंटरेस्टेड इन, कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपको टीचर ट्रेनिंग पसंद है तो आप वो देख रहे हैं, या आपको देयर समथिंग दैट यू वांट टू डू विद द प्राइमरी स्कूल्स एंड दैट्स समथिंग दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट, और करिकुलम डेवलपमेंट है या लेसन प्लानिंग है, जैसे भी. बट रियली इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दैट देयर आउट देयर, आपस में वो क्या कर रही हैं, कौन किसका प्रोडक्ट है. If a couple of them are competing against each other, what's the difference in their product, what's the difference in their vision, mission, wo sara kuch. So I think really important to understand that. It will not only help you to stay connected, it will also वो network building वाली चीज, and that potential to explore and see के क्या कुछ हम आपस में जोड़कर we can actually come up with a better solution. So गोइंग फॉरवर्ड अटेंड कॉन्फ्रेंसेस जो एसओई आपके लिए अरेंज करता है, सवाल पूछें, डिस्कशन में इनिशिएट करें. कॉन्फ्रेंस होती है एंड they have a couple, they have many partners that come and join that conference, attend that, explore करें opportunities, engage करें discussion में, and lastly read up on them. हो क्या रहा है, वो gap I think वो अभी भी मैं feel करती हूँ sometimes, because I'm like okay इस area में कौन क्या कर रहा है. So while you're in there, अभी से explore कर लेंगे, so by the time you graduate you'll have a good idea of what's happening and what you'd like to explore and take forward.
Thank you. Halima also explained it beautifully when she said that she got to dabble with everything that was going on. So that kind of gives the students a holistic experience, and that of course helps develop the networking system as well. And then it gives you an opportunity to probe and to find out what you're worth and what you'd like to really do if you already do not have an idea. So now we're coming towards the close of this, and any questions from any of the students here, any of the participants? Just feel free to unmute and ask the question. If not, then I'm going to ask you to any advice, because now you've graduated and you're in the field, all three of you. So any advice that you would like to give to SOE per se? Halima, shall we begin with you?
Yeah, so as I was saying before as well, an advice for students is to take the entire experience at LUMS. There are opportunities at every corner. Network with students from different schools, not just your own school, because आप जो एक CS student या business student से सीखेंगे, regardless of the fact whether you want to be a passionate educator, that would be entirely different from what you know. And for SOE, I personally think that collaborating with more schools and providing more electives to actually maybe collaborate with the HSS school, like the humanities school, where SOE students and other students get to interact and collaborate more. Because the experience I had being in Dr. Suleiman's course, HCI, sitting with CS students, students from different schools at LUMS. That was a pretty amazing experience for me. Even for the my batchmates who were taking MBA courses, them as well. So my advice would be to collaborate more with other schools to provide more opportunities for more electives, and also to maybe focus more on the leadership and management perspective of the program as well. Education में तो embedded है for sure, but the leadership and management part, that perspective should also be, a bit covered.
That's quite insightful. Thank you, Halima. So we've got less than a minute left to close this. So I would like to thank you all for being a part of this session today. It was very insightful and wonderful talking to the first batch as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get to teach you, but this is a great interaction that we've had. Thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of this and for your time and attention. And I wish you all the best. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sanya.
Sanya.
Thank you, Rafia,
Thank you,
Halima, and
everyone.
Fatma.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Allah Hafiz.